Hey guys, this is Killrob speaking, and today we are back in making the Countess Run Simulator. And this is episode 4. Currently we are, let me check my papers, we are 5 hours into the process of making this tool. And so far we have, I think progress has been pretty solid. 5 hours in and we have a complete UI design for each and every page. And some rough understanding of what has to happen on these pages. And, well, currently it looks like this will all work just fine. And all the information can actually be displayed on here. That would be great. And today's episode will be about cleaning up this UI, polishing it up a little bit, and also exporting all the future art assets we are going to use. And that will be the various backgrounds, and it will be all the buttons, and these check marks, and the variants, and what more? These background bars, I believe. Yeah, they should be baked into the background, I guess. But yeah, first things first, let's do a little bit of cleanup. And we should start on the most complex of pages, because that one will serve as a, yeah, if it's the most complex thing, then there are the most UI elements on it. That's why it's the most complex thing. And if I can get that one polished up, then all the elements which are in similar places can just be adapted to the most complex one. For instance, it's on this layer. Let me just unlock this. This one, this background, which is, let me show it to you, which is basically just a darkening of this field. Oh, it actually doesn't look too bad with just the background image there. It becomes harder to read, so I think I'm going to keep that little shading. It's looking pretty good. It was at 70. Can't set it at 70 right now. Anyway, so if those things are set to the correct size, then, and we go back here, and here we already have that field, and it is the same size. But if we then go here and see like, oh, look, well, that's not consistent with the rest of the UI, we should change that. And then we can just say that, okay, we are going to adopt this background style for these setup pages as well, just to make a more consistent look. And I think that will work out just fine. I will have to take notes at which pixels I roughly want them, or roughly, well, exactly want them, but I'm not going to, I'm going to try to find some round values, but they are not necessary. We can later on, when we are building the UI in GameMaker Studio 2, we can then pixel adjust them individually just to make them fit correctly. Also, I will not have to place any of these things. They can be generated there and all that stuff. I just need a rough... no, I don't even need a rough estimate. We have the design here. I know the button sizes. Once I have exported the buttons, I then have everything I need. So that will be easy enough, I guess. It's just time consuming, it's a little tedious. But overall, I think this is where we're going to start. So let's head back to the most complex page. Here it is. And let me get started on fixing a few things up. So first things first, I did remove the background, the back plating from these, and it looks a lot better because these already have a large area which is black, or of a just simple color, simple gray. They don't necessarily need a back plating, and it looks better this way because you see more of the structure in the background. It's rather pretty, and we can place them freely. Also, I just noticed I've already given them good sizes. They're not in a good position, mind you, but a good size. 240 times 60 pixels, so 60 high and 240 wide. And let's see down here. Some awkward sizes. This could be made 150, for instance, which is a good size. So let's set it at 150 and then just move it up by 1 to... Yeah, oh, these are weird, but pretty close to 300. 300 is a good number. And 530 is a good number, I guess. And so this one would have to be in line then too. So we move it there and to 90 in Y. Alright, if that is 90 in Y, then this one has to be 90 in Y. And how wide is this one? Let's make it 660. Then this one has to be 660 as well. You see what I'm doing here. It's just like straightening things out, aligning things so that they become more consistent. And then we have this one, which is 269 wide. Let's make it 270 wide. And 420 blazon it. That's also good, but it starts at an awkward place. Let's make it 980, which means that there's now 660. There's now a 20 pixel gap. With a 20 pixel gap there, that means that all these gaps need to be 20 pixels for consistency. So let's take a look here. This was 420 high, and it started at 90, so that means it's at 510. So this needs to start at 530, and it starts at 530. Excellent, so that's 20 pixels. So this one needs to be now starting at 530 as well. It doesn't currently. And at 580 we said to be exactly aligned. So is this alright? This one was how wide? Was 270 wide. And this one needs to be 270 wide as well. Height-wise, this one needs to be exactly 150 because this one was 150. And now, isn't it beautiful? Now these back panels are all perfectly aligned. And if we remove these things, you see that, yes, they are aligned. They look good on here. I've messed it up with the layering a little bit, I have to say. That's not all too professional. Because I would want to have this green one in my blue one, which makes it easier to deal with in situations like this where you only want to see certain parts of the UI. But it doesn't really matter here, does it? Now I guess I have to take a look at the backplating for these, because that backplating will be baked into the UI. These backplatings, of course, will have to be baked into here, but they need consistent spacings to the frame itself as well. And that means I have to straighten them out. So this one starts at 300. If we want to start this backplating at 320, we can do so easily. Okay, I just moved it into place. And this one starts at 90, so I can start that one at 110. And I retain the 20 pixel spacing. Very important. Consistency. Consistency is everything in UI design. And I mean, I've sinned myself. I've sinned my fellow followers. I have sinned myself when designing things in the past, and I will in future too. But yeah, this doesn't have to be one of those places. This might have to get a little bit tighter than this in height. There's more room here on top. The heading can move down slightly without any issues, so that's a non-issue, I would say, but the height is awkward, as you see. We would have to go for, let me see, so that was 420, so that means that this one, 20 pixels on each side, this one means that this one can only be 380. And as you see, that gets a little tight on the bottom, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad, that's a good back panel there. So then, ooh, oh yes, okay, we made them 200 wide, yeah. So let's make these 200 wide as well, and just make them consistent. Oh, interesting. Now we are running into a little problem with our backing plate here, and it's not large enough in width. So what I can do then is, because this serves as one unit of the UI, it serves one specific thing you want to do it, I can reduce the spacing here by exactly 10 between the panels. Is that correct? Was that correct? 530. So if I remove 10 there, then we have 20 pixel spacing on the outside, which then is consistent again. But that, on the other hand, leads me to believe that maybe, just maybe, we don't want to have a gap in between, but have it all black. Let's see what that looks like. If I just extend it out here, that will have that effect. Nah, it looks weird, doesn't it? It kind of needs some kind of spacing just to separate the columns a bit better, give you a bit more structure for the eye to follow. Okay, all the backplatings are now in place and unified in style, apart from the 10 pixel spacing instead of the 20 pixel spacing in between there. And this one is all set up. Yeah, they're all set up. Now, these buttons aren't quite where they're supposed to be, so let's just select them and see what we can do about it. And I do want to see if there's anything fishy going on here with the sizing first. No, that's good. It's completely contained. This text is completely contained within the button, so this won't this box won't be adding any measurements here. So how do we do that? We do want to have do we want to have 20 pixels distance there too? It's not a given. We don't have to. This is nice though. Look at that. They're now all aligned, and we have a new place where there's a 10 pixel gap between items, which we also have between these elements. So that's good. And also there's a 10 pixel gap between items that belong together in a selection. And there's a 10 pixel gap in items over here, which belong together in a selection. So very good. Very good. It's consistent in a like pulled out of my nose way. And just watch it that these buttons actually are centered within this one, and they look to be exactly that. Yes, 10 pixels on top there, 10 pixels on the bottom. Here it is less clear what is going on, and I don't think I have a consistent idea for style there. No, consistent styling idea there. But it probably should be exactly in the middle between these two. Let's see if we get some kind of helper. There it was. Come on. Get there. Yes. So what does that mean? Oh, that puts them at a 05. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. But it is exactly in the middle. I'm also not a fan of these being not having equal distance to the others. That would look weird. And they are in a weird place considering these backing plates anyway. So I think we got to take that. Yes. That should be fine. Is there anything else? Oh, wait a second. Button. This button up here. 10 pixels on each side, maybe? Yeah, that works. That works. So now we have all the measurements nailed down, apart from the details here, which I don't have to nail down, because we are going to dynamically generate them anyway. Oh, well, not dynamically. I mean, we are going to write code that automatically places all of them with a certain amount of spacing. I see what's left. Yeah, these things. Ooh, look at them. That's not good. This especially needs to have some optimization, because we are going to run code over it that scales things. And I think Game Maker Studio is pretty good at scaling. Is it? Scaling so that it doesn't look too terrible? Well, I'm not going to rely on that necessarily. And what I want to do is have these red bars, the translucent ones, baked into the background, because they're always going to be there, including their frame, and then have the dark red one and the text laid over dynamically. So this will be a hit, what is it called, hit points bar, I guess, which we're just drawing on top, starting from here, and for the rest being translucent. I think that works. If we set it to no border and just place it right, I think that might work. And yeah, that means that we can have that baked into the background already, and just live with that. Yep, okay. Let me just see if I can find something that would be reasonable for placement. Oh yeah, okay. We're looking at a potential 20 gap. That would be terrifyingly nice if we could manage that. But 6. What is going on here? Oh, they're all over the place. Okay, 620 pixels wide means that there's a 20-20 gap. So that works. Okay, the only awkward thing about this is the positioning of the hit point bars that we are going to use, because of the framing they have around here, a 2-pixel border. They have a bit strange pixel numbers to fit them in there. Okay, perfect. Perfect. There's a 10-pixel gap in between here now, and we have 20 pixels to the borders. And now we can do one thing. Do I want to do that? There is some space left here. I would like to uncram them in the Y direction. So what we could do is actually make this backplating 10 pixels longer, and all these other backplatings move down 10 pixels as well. But I'm not so sure that is actually necessary. The layout currently is looking pretty good, and we do have more room up here. Also that, oh yeah, now that would move these 2 buttons a little too far down. It would collide with our super important text. So how do we go about the rest then? Well, first things first, let's clone this spread, and then rip out everything that is not baked into the background. Okay, simple as this. Oh, no, button, sorry. There's a button there that needs to go. So, this is our... Oh, no, wait a second. We do actually need these bars, don't we? So I have to remove those things. I can't just make them invisible, unfortunately. Oh, yeah. And I probably should take those out as well, but that's simple enough to do. Bye-bye. Okay, done. Okay, well, this one still needs to go. And these, and then we are happy. Just removing that text there too, and no, not that bar, this bar, and this bar, and the text down here. Alright, this is what it's supposed to look like, apart from the title. Come on, Killer Rob, isn't that obvious? Yes. So, this is our UI background. Okay, now I have to clone this one. Yes, I'm going to clone this one and make a 1-bar version of this, which is placed exactly in the center of this big bar. And that's super easy to do now that everything is aligned. These grid helpers, these alignment measure thingies in InDesign are super helpful. Look, it's already in the center. This is exactly where it should be. Perfect. So now this is done. This is for the 2 result pages, as you know. Now I just have to double check if... Oh, one of the result pages doesn't need this field. Right. There we see. Okay, almost missed something. Yeah, so this one with 2 bars needs it. The one with the 1 bar doesn't need it. So let's now just go through what else we need to do regarding backgrounds. This stuff can live on one of the normal backgrounds, but we need to have one without progress bars. And the other one, the same thing. Okay, these backgrounds will be the same, but we do need one without progress bars. All right, let's quickly create that. Super simple. Yep, there we go. Okay, no progress bar there. And the good thing about what we just did there is that overall, I mean, is that we don't have to tidy up all these screens because everything will follow from what we just did from the most complex design. Really handy, and wasn't much work either. Alright, what is next, you ask? Well, next we, I guess, have to do an asset page for all buttons and stuff. So, yeah, just whatever, duplicate this spread, just need a new page, and let's get rid of everything on here. Just want to have the same settings, basically. Oh, this is all very black. Why is this so black? Hello? Can we just select everything and delete it? Yeah, thank you. Okay. That is what I wanted to do. And now we just copy over the buttons we need, one by one, and make the different variants of them. For the most part, we already have that, but each and every one of them needs to have its special state because we have this text glow. That means we can't recreate that easily without some advanced shadery stuff or some fine plugins in GameMaker Studio. So what I'm going to do is take a button, for instance the setup. Oh no, let's start at the top. So I'm going to take this button and, or rather, let me do the following. They're all in the same layer. So I'm just going to grab them, copy them, and put them down here on our asset page in the exact size we want them. Just make sure when you do that, because we're going to export them to Photoshop, make sure that they are not on half pixels or anything, because that will be also applied in Photoshop and they will be weirdly smushed at the sides of them. Alright, so we do have some variants of them. We will have to have some variants of them in the exact size they are. And that is one cold version, one passive version, or locked version, and then one glowy version. And maybe one super version? I don't know if we need another state in there. So I'm just going to copy them over right next to them like this. Check that they are on good pixel numbers, and then I'm going to recreate this look on this button and do vice versa for these. But I'm going to save myself some work saying that. I'm just noticing how to make this a lot quicker. So we do need a few versions of these, so why not just do Alt and hit an arrow key and then copy them over like this. And they're all aligned already. And do this once more. And then we can multi-select them and do it a little quicker. Okay, now we have 3 different button states for each and every big selection button. It wasn't too much work, and these will be easily cycled in between, and we don't have to worry about switching fonts or colors for them. It's just a simple switch out the image for something else. That is the way I like to do, at least in prototyping, and I don't know any better than prototyping. I like to do buttons. That is not the most efficient way of handling well, file sizes and stuff, because you are adding new images, but it certainly works, and it is the simplest way I know of how to do it, while it's still keeping it look real nice. So this is decent enough. And now that we have these buttons, we can go to the next set of buttons. So what do we need? We do need plus and minus buttons. Okay, simple enough, that too. And we do need the simulate button. Yes, that's an important one. Let's put it down there. It has the same size, it just has a different style for the borders. So what I'm going to do is just change the style of border and exchange the text, and I have my simulate button glowing. Alright, next we attack the plus and minus buttons. And I don't think we have a glow version of the plus and minus buttons. So let's create one so that we have a hot state for them as well. We have outer glow, and it is the intense red at 15%, size 10. Okay. Oh, it's hard to see that there's anything happening, actually. But, I guess there is. Oh, this will look so nice. Look at that, such a subtle little difference. And now, oh, are these centered? They look very centered. They look centered to me. Yes, I think they are. And now this one just gets the gray, and we are done with the minuses, and do the same with the plus. All right, done. Done. What more buttons? Of course, the check mark. How could we forget? And we give it the same style. 15% glow, and not that whitish of a glow, but rather the intense red glow. Okay, yeah, if we just put this at 100, then we see it clearly, so it must be there at 15 as well. Okay, check mark's done. And what next? Oh, the exit button. Alright, the escape myself from this tool, please, because it's horrendous. This button, yes, very important. Probably the most important button to someone who doesn't like Diablo 2. But yeah, they have sinned, they will go to hell anyway. What other buttons are there? Is that all? Is that all the buttons we need? Seems odd. I've never produced something that it requires so little buttons. Also, grammar. Get up, grammar! You haven't produced anything that requires that little buttons. Not something. Do we actually need a state for you? You're not allowed to quit this before you finish the 1 million Countess runs. You're captured forever. Your blood will boil trying to hit this button. Okay, I don't think we need it, but I'm going to make it anyway. So that it's consistent. Even that is consistent. So if we, in case we ever need it, it will be there. Okay, so that's good. Now just quickly check if we have everything. That doesn't seem like much, to be honest. Do we have everything other than that sorted? And this is just plus and minus buttons. We have those. We do have all the backgrounds. We have all the main buttons. We have these check marks. We have, for the other mode, this is just plus minus buttons in the deactivated state. And these are activated, and yeah, this is all we need. That's cool. Okay, then I'm going to make a folder where I save all of those, but the process here is that I take one of these, copy it over to Photoshop, and determine a scale. I'm going to make it 1:1. Because everything in this tool is 1:1. If I would be making something that has UI scaling, I would render it out at up to 4 times the size, and then save the asset like that, and then it can be downscaled for smaller UI, like 1080p, and it can retain its natural size at 4K, for instance. So, but here it isn't necessary to do that. So I'm just going to save a 1:1 version of this one. Alright, just copy it here and then paste it. Oh no, we can't paste it. Just create new, so Control N. Ah, come on, Control N yourself. Oh, now it comes up. Why isn't this one correct, is my instant question. 275 doesn't seem right. Oh, let's check here. This is 240 wide. Ah, maybe it's just freaking out because of the text. And maybe because the glow is rendered outside. But we don't really care about that, because if it is, and it is so subtle that we wouldn't notice anyway, so we can cut off that effect. No problem. So let's make a new one which has exactly the button size. So like this, and 60. And then we paste this one here. And select 100%. Okay, 100, 100. And then we place it. And why? Is this correct? Does this look correct? There, yeah. No, it is correct. Oh! Doesn't seem to be quite there. There's something going on here. It looks great. Like, deactivate the background. This would be how we export it. But there's something going on with these borders. I don't know quite what. Let me double check in here. A quick test I can do is just to use this button instead. And make a new image. Oh, yeah, you see, this one has a different size already. This one supposedly is smaller. What the hell is going on here? Oh, okay, but this one just fits. Fits perfectly. There's no weird anti-aliasing going on, fringing out the edges here. So, these work. It seems to be the glow effect that is fucking us over here. Can we recover from this? Oh, this is interesting. Look, the bottom edge is perfectly sharp, but the top one isn't. Well, you see, another way of doing this with such a simple art is to just copy-paste this straight away. Just use your snipping tool for all that matters. And then do it manually for these that don't want to be copied over. It might even be quicker. So, there we have the buttons. I just went to one-to-one view, and now I can just cut them out manually and save them. Yeah, that was the better choice, instead of teleporting them over in the program and kind of scaling them and shit. They don't seem to be communicating properly with one another, the two Adobe products here, or I'm just being stupid and don't know what's going on. But yeah, like this, I can just copy, then select new, and why... Uh-oh. Why is this 320 times 80? Are they that large? What the hell? Something's wrong again. No, Killerob, what are you doing? Ah, there we go. Now it is suggesting the correct width and height, and, well, that was 75%. Fortunately, it was exactly one of those sizes it goes to. Yeah, otherwise we would have to do other trickery there. Fortunately, we don't have to. Okay, so I can just take those and save them one by one. So when you do something like that, you have to have a clear structure for your naming and your folders, because otherwise it becomes hell really, really fast. So we are going to call this buttons. And that's just a folder in my other folder. So we have the buttons here, and then we call this one, we save them as PNGs, and we call this one, what was it? It is the select runes button. Okay, so we have 3 different states for this select runes button, and that is, we shall call them hot, cold, and passive. But we can name them as well by just numbers, which makes it a little shorter, a little easier. So let's say the highest number is the hottest number. So that would be 2. So we go 2, 1, 0. 0 is passive, 1 is cold, 2 is hot. Oh, interesting. I think I noticed where I fucked up with some of the edges. These aren't exported yet, so that's not an issue. But look at that. So these are, if you just select the item itself, they are placed nicely. But that doesn't mean anything, because what needs to be placed nicely is the box itself. And that one is lingering somewhere in between pixels, and that's terrible. Okay, now I need to test another part of my little suspicion here, that I might have to redo all of them. I don't really mind. It's just busy work. Alright, so how do I test this? Probably by... Can I just undo? Oh no, it has all the selections in here. Fuck. Okay, I have to copy it out again. Not a big issue, Kirob. Hold your horses. We don't have to burn down this thing yet. Okay, like this. And now I can just do another snipping tool action. So what has gone wrong? Maybe I left on the anti-aliasing option for this tool. That would not be good, because then we get some weird effects for these edges, which I did see while exporting. That would not be good. So let me just test with this one and see if it now comes out better. So I turn off transparency. Yeah, okay, I have to fucking redo all of them. Brilliant! Yay! 3 yays for Killrob, but please, at least 1 yay for Killrob for noticing. So let me show you the difference. Where's the difference? Select runes here. So you see that? That is semi-transparent up there. And compare that to this one, which is completely opaque. Perfect. So, well, perfect in that this one is good and the other one, yeah, all the others need to be redone. So let's get started. At least I have all the names already, so I don't have to double work that thing. Okay, now I made sure that all the buttons are in good locations, so now I can take on that task too. I did have a little problem there with the plus not looking like it was in the middle, but rather a little too far to the left. So I fixed that in the original, and now I'm just going to re-export the plus and plus buttons. The minus buttons were fine. Alright, all done. So now let's check our folder and see if all the graphics match up, because well, oh yeah, and we're not quite done yet. We're done with the buttons, and now come the backgrounds as well, but they are simple enough. So let's have this in extra large mode, and we see check, yes, hell 1 2 minus minus minus. And do you see how good they're looking? I mean, this will be amazing. This will look superb. The only thing I can think of that would be make it even better, but it's a little bit too much work, is to have a super hot version that only happens when right when you click the button, and that would be pretty easy to do, but yeah, tedious. That we amp up the glow of the intense red text to a higher rating, so that it looks like it kind of flashes up when you click it. That would look cool. Maybe we can implement that later down the road, but if this tool becomes super awesome, then I can think of that as a thing that makes it even a little bit better, a bit more immersive. But this will already look real nice. Okay, so now for the backgrounds. The backgrounds are a little easier to deal with because we can just simply... Oh yeah, that's another way of doing it, of course. You don't have to... Yeah, that is the alternative way of doing it, and doing it a proper way, actually. Instead of snipping tooling it from InDesign and pasting it in Photoshop, you can just export them with like Control-E. Just export, and then you select, oh, not print, PNGs, and that will be UI backgrind, exactly. A very fitting misspelling. Grund, what? Background. There we go. Okay, so save it there, and then we select, yeah, just go with all pages. Anti-aliasing, transparent background, yes. And that's all good. And if you then export at 72, then it comes out at a natural size. That is the way I usually do it for automation. I export them, and then I have one document with all the stuff in it I need, and then I paste it from there, or take that document into Photoshop, and there dissect the various buttons and whatnot. So, and put them into files and send them around. But this should be good enough. All pages, range. We need the last few pages, although let's do all. Let's do all, put them all in one place. There we go, it's exporting. Okay, come on. And now we should have them here. There we go, there's the background. We don't need these. So this is a UI background. Okay, so a generic setup. I select runes results and a runes result, runs result. So we have 3 different backgrounds, and yeah, they can just live in this little folder. Okay, save the document as well. And now that we have everything, what more is there to do? Oh, I know. We do need the title in my usual colors. Here, Countess runs. So this is my Photoshop document, and now we just need to put it in there. Let's see what size we used. That is 48 pixels in regular. Well, yeah, it's only in regular. Okay, so I have my standard color theme here, and we put it in. Oh, look how tiny it is! It's so cute. That is the actual size that title is, though, even though it looks a lot larger here. Alright, that's because this is zoomed out. And let's apply. There we go. That is the original look of the text. So now I just deactivate all the other layers, and oh, that's a big killer place, and that's a big killer place, and this is a big killer place. Fuck it. Okay, here we go. So, Diablo 2, Countess Run Simulator. Do we want to have it in that color? Yeah, I guess. I guess we would. I guess we do. So, I'm just going to copy it out of here. Or do I? Oh, that comes without the settings, so I have to render it out. Alright. Title text. Let's load it back into here. Oh, what a surprise. Didn't know it would look like that. And now I can cut it out. Here we go. Let's try to make the spacing on each side about equal, so that it's not off-centered once I center it in the tool. This looks pretty solid. Yep, yeah, it is good. Alright guys, I think that is all for today. We do have the title, we do have the backgrounds. Let's check out the backgrounds real quick. Are they the correct size? Yes, they are the correct size. These are the backgrounds we have. This is the background image, which we no longer need because it's baked into this. And then we have the buttons all gathered here in all states. Yep, this will be pretty. Okay, I hope you enjoyed, and see you guys next time.